IVD and foreign-run customs and leased territories. 4. 外籍海关与租界地 Spatial carriers of fragmented sovereignty. 主权碎化的空间载体 1. Robert Hart and the hegemony of foreign-managed customs. 1. 赫德与外籍海关霸权 Robert Hart presided over China's customs for nearly half a century. The customs not only controlled national tariffs but also intervened in diplomacy, postal services, port administration, meteorology and other affairs, becoming a super administrative agency for foreign powers in China. Tariff revenue was prioritized for repaying foreign debts, and the Qing court could only dispose of a small surplus. The country's fiscal gateway was completely open. 2. 租界与租界地国中之国的殖民飞地 Concessions implemented Western municipal, judicial, and police systems, forming independent jurisdictions. LEASED territories were directly under military jurisdiction of foreign powers, equivalent to colonies. Both became bridgeheads for capital export, military deterrence and cultural infiltration, splitting China's territorial and administrative integrity and hindering national reunification well into the Republican period. V. The practical late Qing new policies. 5. 清末新政实干 Zhang Ming the empirical research, Tocqueville the paradox, 以及来自 The New York Times the warnings, 张鸣实证托克维尔悖论与纽约时报预警 1. Jiang Ming on the new policies. Genuine comprehensive reforms, not perfunctory gestures. 1. 张鸣论新政绝非敷衍，而是全面实干改革 In rethinking modern Chinese history, Zhang Ming clearly corrects historical bias. The late Qing new policies from 1901 to 1911 were genuine, top-down, nationwide. ND effective reforms, not political performances for mere survival. The reforms covered 7 areas: military, official, educational, legal, fiscal, industrial, and police systems, far deeper than the Westernization movement and the 100 Days Reform, driving China's modern transformation at the institutional level. 2. The New York Times warning, excessively rapid and broad reform. 2. 纽约时报预警，新政步伐迈得过大。In a special dispatch from Beijing on the 6th of September 1906, the New York Times, while affirming the reform determination, issued an accurate warning. Qing China's new policies are advancing too fast and too broadly. The traditional bureaucratic system, social structure, and public intelligence are not ready for such radical and comprehensive changes, which may easily trigger structural collapse of the empire. This judgment resonates across time with classic Western political theory. 3. 托克维尔改革悖论，改革成为革命催化剂。In the old regime and the revolution, Tocqueville put forward a classic proposition: the most dangerous moment for a bad government is when it begins to reform. REFORMS. Remove some oppression, making remaining abuses more unbearable, and awakened political demands exceed institutional capacity, eventually igniting revolution. The late Qing new policies fully confirmed this paradox. Abolishing the imperial examination cut off the gentry's upward path without building an alternative. Establishing consultative bureaus opened political participation but failed to meet constitutional demands. Training new armies created centrifugal military groups. Promoting modern education spread revolutionary ideas. Earnest reform instead accelerated dynastic collapse. 4. 预备立宪真选举，小乡绅选大乡绅的监督革命。Zhang Ming's key research shows that indirect elections of local gentry electing senior gentry in late Qing provincial consultative bureaus completely restructured local power logic. Traditional officials derived power from imperial authority and were only responsible to superiors. Consultative, BUREAU members, publicly elected locally, imposed rigid supervision over local officials. Budget review, policy questioning, and impeachment accountability became normal, and officials could no longer act arbitrarily. This marked a historic shift in Chinese local politics from only upward accountability to also considering public will. The New York Times reported on the 17th of October 1910, local governors and provincial military governors frequently attend consultative bureaus to answer questions. The traditional arbitrary governance model is for the first time constrained by elected bodies. 5. New revenue from commercial taxes, easing official. Public conflicts 5. 商业税新裁员无需掘地三尺，官民矛盾缓和。The new policies established a modern commercial tax system. Licken, commercial taxes, stamp duties, and customs shares brought stable revenue, changing the traditional fiscal pattern of relying on land taxes. Zhang Ming pointed out that local officials obtained legal commercial tax income, no longer needing to levy exorbitant taxes on peasants. Surcharges on land taxes were greatly reduced. Official public conflicts significantly eased. The transformation of the fiscal structure brought tangible livelihood benefits. 6. 资议局与资政院，中国首次现代代议实践。The 1908 outline of imperial constitution set a 9-year preparatory constitutionalism period. 1909年 provincial consultative bureaus were elected across all provinces. 1910年 the National Advisory Council opened in Beijing, with complete rules for election, deliberation, voting. Gentry, modern intellectuals and industrial and commercial classes participated through voting. Yuan Shikai, Zhang Jian, Yang Du, and others were deeply involved, forming the first large-scale modern representative political practice in Chinese history, accumulating valuable experience for republican constitutionalism. 6. Empress Dowager Long Yu and the abdication of the Qing Emperor.